All right, good morning. Hopefully you watched the beginning of last week's or last class's video. Just letting you know, and some of you have been catching up. That once again, I'm not giving you any more new quizzes or work or anything for the rest of the next 2 weeks. Letting you get caught up. So get caught up on all your work, get everything turned in, go and check and make sure that you're not missing stuff because some of you still haven't turned in stuff. So make sure that you go in here, go to wherever your thing says missing, somewhere around here. Mine doesn't look like yours. And check and make sure that you do not have something missing. Turn it in. Okay, at worst, you're going to get is a 50. If you don't turn it in, it'll be a 0. So, uh, I'm not even counting it late. So, 50 is better than a 0. Your grade is usually better than a 50. So get that stuff turned in. But let's talk about this very quickly. The climate vegetation of this region, there's a lot in this region because it goes from Australia to Antarctica and all the islands and everything. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of different climates in here. So my favorite clip from Forrest Gump.
One day, it started raining, and it didn't quit for 4 months. We've been through every kind of rain there is. Little bit of stinging rain, and big old fat rain. Rain that flew in sideways, and sometimes rain even seemed to come straight up from underneath. Shoot, it even rained at night.
Hey, Forrest,
Hey, Bubba.
I'm going to lean up against you. You just lean right back against me. This way we don't have to sleep with our heads in the mud.
It's a good clip right there. So, Forrest was in Vietnam, in case you didn't know that. So he had some tropical weather. The tropical weather is found on the coastal plains of Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, and Oceania. So they get lots and lots of rain in this region because it's tropical. Let's see right here. So it's tropical wet here. Sometimes you get tropical wet and dry, where Forrest was probably tropical wet and dry. That's why I said one day it started raining, didn't stop for a long time. It was the rainy season, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And you wouldn't get some rain for a while. So you get more right here on the equators where you're going to get more tropical wet, like a rainforest type, because of the being right here on the equator. Same as the countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo over here in Africa and over here in South America, the rainforest there. So it's going to be right on the equator. But right up north of the equator, you're going to have tropical wet and dry here. So tropical wet and dry, just south of the equator, just north of the equator, tropical wet and dry. They average a lot of rain in the tropical wet. Monsoons would be that rainy season weather. It comes right up in here. The monsoons do. That would be some of your rainy season. And has one of the greatest diversity of vegetation in the region because of all the rain and being right on the equator. There's many tropical wet and dry, tropical wet and tropical wet and dry in this region. A lot of these islands are tropical wet and dry. You can't really see the color of them, but tropical wet and dry, just north and south of the equator, right on the equator, tropical wet. Then you have moderate climate. Moderate climate being like the mid-latitude zones, like what we have. Australia is split between two climates, hot summers, mild winters, and mild summers, cool winters. Australia, a lot of it is, you can see here on the coast here, the top of it is tropical wet and dry. Then you have humid subtropical, that's what we have, humid subtropical. And then you have marine west coast down here, which is what the northern part of what is this? Seattle has. Northern part of the United States. Right up here, behind Antarctica's thing. Here's the United States over here. So this little band right here, marine west coast, even though it's on the eastern side of Australia, it's still called marine west coast. Then you have some Mediterranean right here. Mediterranean's like the one around the Mediterranean Sea. The middle of Australia is outback. hot and dry. It's the outback there, and then you have semi-arid. That's kind of that transition zone to the rest. But it's really hot there. And then New Zealand is marine. All of it's marine west coast. Sorry, wrong way. New Zealand, Southern Australia have marine west coast climate. The coast of Australia is the most heavily populated. You can see here, not many people are going to live over here. It's not good climate. It's desert. A lot of people live over here. That's where the best climate is. The big towns in Australia, like Sydney, maybe, I don't know other cities that Brisbane, Perth, they're all right here on the coast here. It's very heavily populated. You can see here's my population density map. The middle of Australia is less than 0.1% of the people per square mile live here. But a lot of the people live right here on the coast, very coast. Not even like just next to the coast, very coast is a lot of them. So you can see the coast area there. Australia, a third of it is the desert. That's crops can only be grown there using irrigation. This is maybe the famous red rock you've seen there in the outback. The outback is dry and unpopulated. In the middle part of Australia, that's where they kind of force the Aboriginal people to. Like we forced the Native Americans out of their land. The Australians, when the British people came in and claimed Australia, they forced those Aborigines more and more inland to the land nobody wants. The few people that live there get medical care from the Royal Flying Doctor Service. It's a helicopter or plane comes in, gives you doctor care. Antarctica is also known as a polar desert because it's so dry. It doesn't get any new precipitation there. Very rare precipitation or snow. It's a lot of wind blowing this ice around. Very few things can survive there. All right. That's about it. So we'll go over human geography of, we're going to skip human environment interaction. We're going to go straight to human geography on Friday, finish up by midweek next Friday. So any questions you might have, just call or email me. Remember, just write one sentence about what you learned today. Can be anything you learned from these 4 or 5 slides. All right. Have a good day.